Hi, this is Dominic Keating. I played Lieutenant Malcolm Reed on Enterprise, as you probably know, and you are listening to the NX 7062 podcast. Enjoy.
Yes, it is time for the NX 7062 podcast. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday to everybody. DJ Kitty Cat already. That is so sweet. Yes, Stefanie is going to be out here momentarily to talk about Trek Long Island. We are continuing with my Convention 102 course. But before that, of course, I've got some business to attend to, like Shuttle Pod Show. Hey, Tiff! Shuttle Pod Show. Mark, my gosh, quick thinking. YouTube gave him a bit of a, let's just say it, hey, Janine, YouTube gave him a bit of a bitch slap because unfortunately he was using licensed material, and YouTube, he gets money from YouTube now from the super chats. So YouTube was like, can't do a watch party. Sucked, but he was quick on his feet. We all got to hang out with him live yesterday, which was absolutely amazing. And I know how tough it is to, hey Dave, how tough it is to just like go live. I've done it where you're just, hey Jober, man of his word. I knew you were coming. I still didn't bake a cake, but I knew you were coming. How many people? Oh, 6 now. Okay. So yeah, I've done that. Just gone live like at the drop of the hat, and it's tough. And Mark has a lot of my respect for doing that. And it was an awesome show. And I know everybody had fun, even though there were some muting issues, because like it is here, and it is definitely over there, we are a community, and you guys, everybody talks among themselves and hangs out in the chat room. And the show almost becomes background, almost. But if it's a good enough show, like the Shuttle Pod Show is, it keeps you. So let's see. And unfortunately, Mark has been very busy. I was hoping to see if he was going to be able to keep that original watch party that we couldn't see yesterday on YouTube. I was hoping that he was going to say that it's definitely on Discord or somewhere else where he can have it for people to look, even if it is just for Patreons, because let's face it, there's no reason why you shouldn't become a patron of the Shuttle Pod Show and of mine. I mean, hey, Lasso. No reason why you can't do both, people. But yeah, so I have not heard from Mark, unfortunately. I know he's ridiculously busy. Lots going on. I know they're kind of getting ready to wrap on this season. So, oh, and by the way, I've been meaning to drag this out. Let us not forget how much I love my High Noon. And I know the picture's terrible. I'm going to have to do something about that. Remember High Noon? I told you guys all about it. It's vodka and real juice. So I've got my vodka and pineapple finally that I've been, believe it or not, has been sitting in the refrigerator since my first show, waiting for me to drag it back out. And you know what? It tastes just as good because it has a little slider thing on it that kept it so fresh. It popped when I opened it again. It was amazing. And who doesn't love vodka and pineapple juice? Definitely Lieutenant Reed. All right, so Lower Decks. Watched it today. I hate the fact that it's only 10 episodes before the end of the season, but it was a fantastic season finale. I mean, you got a tiny little bit of Empire Strikes Back thrown in with the cut the engines and hiding, obviously, and a lot of TNG and a lot of Wrath of Khan. The music, the sliding around in that ion storm. Oh my God. It was so perfect. It was so beautiful. The graphics were very original movies with the rainbow. I don't know what you call it, but I mean, it was a perfect homage to Wrath of Khan. It was so good. I mean, all the TNG stuff. Let's do a huge flashback to that one episode. And I thought that was great. I mean, look who they had for their guest list. They got Robbie Duncan McNeil. They got Shannon Phil to reprise Cito Jax. And you know what? Maybe they'll bring her back. I mean, yeah. I mean, her escape pod got blown up, but we've all seen that kind of crap happen before and still had the people come back. So maybe the fact that she's doing those flashbacks in Lower Decks, and she was really good friends with Mariner. You know, I have a feeling they could just bring her back around. It is not unheard of. Oh, and let's not forget the one and only Will Wheaton popped by to reprise Wesley Crusher. So it was just fantastic all around. And I will say this, and I have said this before, you guys have heard me say this, that let's see, Dr. Miglimo, I have said this before, is a play on Dr. Phlox, because everybody, I think, who knows anything about Star Trek, who's ever seen John Billingsley, has heard the story about how when he auditioned, he squawked. He wanted to give Phlox something. He was an alien, so he squawked, which they, yes, Will's, and he squawked, and they put the kibosh on that right away. They're like, stop doing that. Do not squawk. Anyone is a costume who takes commissions to make Lower Decks uniforms for little kids. Oh, that's interesting. All right. Well, you guys can find DJ Kitty Cat if you're a member of the Discord family for Lower Decks for Shuttlepod Show. I know she's there, but there you go. All right. Yes, exactly, Gerber. Ceto Dax lives 100%. Or Ceto Jaxa lives. I don't know. Okay. So anyway, so I have said this before. Dr. Miglio has to be a Dr. Phlox thing. Well, I'm sorry, but when he did that fluff out thing, puff out, you now cannot tell me, and I don't even think I need to ask Michael McMahon. Mike McMahon, you cannot tell me he is not the Dr. Phlox of that freaking ship now. I'm sorry, you just can't. Not with the puffy thing. Not with the puffy thing. I'm sorry. Total Denobulan ripoff. Completely, because Billingsley and the squawking and now the puffiness. Sorry. He is. It's definitely Dr. Phlox reference all around. And the other cool thing that we have found out that is happening for Lower Deck Season 5, and the perfect segue to my guest, is Gabrielle Ruiz will be coming back in Season 5 as T'Lyn, as we all saw in the final episode. She ignored her commander because on the Vulcan vessel, because she has decided she would rather stay on the Cerritos. And why is that a perfect segue? Well, because my guest tonight is the founder of Trek Long Island, where Gabrielle Ruiz will be signing autographs and doing photo ops. Please welcome Stefanie Gangone. Here she is. Hello.
You ready? Lower decks. Just I gotta say though, that guy really looked a lot like Tom Paris. It's
uncanny.
It's uncanny.
I don't know how Boimler can't see it. It's absolutely
can't see
uncanny.
it. It's just like him. Hello.
It would be very cool to meet Gabrielle Ruiz in an LDS uniform.
I think it's Ruiz, but I cannot wait. She seems so nice on Twitter. I'll post something. She's like, yay. She just seems like a really nice, down-to-earth person.
Is this going to be her first convention?
I believe it is. Definitely first Trek, but the only other show I could think that she ever would, I think it is. I think it might be, because Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, I don't think she did conventions with that.
Yeah, I don't think Crazy
Ex-Girlfriend. You haven't seen Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. She's fantastic in it.
I have not.
Oh, it's so much. It's
because
cute.
I've been the Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, so I wasn't sure I wanted to sit down and watch it. But and I've had this conversation on Facebook before. You are inviting some fantastic newcomers to the convention circuit, and I think that that's amazing. I think because I love all the Star Trek actors, but there's only so many times that you can see the same people, because you run out of questions, you run out of things to say to them. It's always nice to see the fresh faces.
They're up and coming too.
They're up and coming. The actors are there.
Gabrielle, did you know last season? I mean, what? When I booked her, I didn't know how big she was going to get. I mean, come on, they're up and coming. All of these people.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be exciting to see. And their energy is going to be amazing, because they're going to be so excited to be there for their first times. Mm-hmm. And completely unbiased opinion, just because you've booked my guy again for a second year in a row, is that they could not be going to a better starting point than Trek Long Island.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
yep. All right, Dave. Speaking as a Stefanie.
Emily Daniel, Scott Wright, get out of here. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So I had a feeling you knew this guy because he's new here.
Scott, I love you. I do love you. I love you.
Dave Gregory, I love you, but Stefanie spells her name with an F. As a Stefanie that does a PH, I have a feeling this Stefanie likes it when people get her name right too. So, I mean, I guess the first and most obvious question is, what the hell made you decide that you needed to start a Star Trek convention?
I needed to start it. I love it. Okay, so I've gone to conventions my entire life. Since Icon, if everybody's from out here in New York remembers Icon, it was the beginning of everything for Long Island. It's historical. It's, that's what got me started, just with conventions in general and working at them. I was never the attendee. I was always a person that wanted to work. Years later, life went on. I became a librarian during the pandemic. I started a little group called Library for the Kind. I wanted to create something that to help children getting through depression, anxiety, and differences, all kinds of differences through the pandemic, things that might trigger pretty horrible emotions for them. So I believe that every child should see themselves in a book. So I went out there and I created this 501c3 promoting literature, diversity, inclusion. And I said, I want to do an event. And what's better than a Star Trek event if I'm going to do diversity and inclusion? So I went for it.
There you go. IDIC.
Exactly.
Oh, wait. Look at Dave covering himself.
Oh, thank you.
I'm just automatically hooked on way of spelling. Dave, there could not have been a better answer to that question, in my opinion. Two thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. Perfect. I just like picking on you, Dave. You know that. I love the fact that you are all here. And so how difficult, I mean, what does it take to actually, sit down and be a newcomer with things like this? Because I know you and I had this is how we became friends. Somebody we both know had mentioned that you were going to be in Star Trek Las Vegas in not this past year, the year before. So was it 2022?
Yeah.
And that I should meet you and that you were planning on doing this event. And I introduced you.
And I stalked you.
You stalked me. And then I said, do you know Lolita? And you said no. I'm like, if you're putting on a Star Trek event, let me introduce you to Lolita. Here's Lolita.
And I stalked Lolita.
You're going to do an event, stalk Lolita. Absolutely. I love Lolita.
It worked out.
Yeah, she's a staple in the Star Trek community. The same way that Derek is, the same way that Gary and Lightspeed are. There's pockets of these amazing agents and companies.
I gotta say, everybody's like, oh, the agents must be. I'm like, they're so nice. I mean, I love them.
And Heroes for Hire. I always have to shout out for Heroes for Hire because they're awesome. And one of these days, Erin Gray is on my bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
Erin Gray is on my bucket list. I was on the Star Trek cruise with her. I know I've said this before. I was on the Star Trek. I didn't know it. And my friend's like, oh, yeah, I had breakfast with her on the cruise. And I'm like, Raymond, and you didn't call me? You didn't even tell me she was on the boat? He's lucky I'm still friends with him. No, I love Erin Gray. I think she's fantastic. And I love how she went from actor. Who better to represent actors than an actor who understands what they need? But I guess what's more difficult? Breaking yourself in with these amazing agents or the rest of it, like putting the hotel together and everything?
No, I gotta say, I did a lot of work with conventions. Like I said in the past, I worked a lot with LI Who, and I learned so much. Just by sticking my hands in every bit and part of the convention, learning everything. Really, I gotta say, and I've said this before, the most important part of convention is your staff. And, having a strong staff and treating your staff well, not yelling at them, not disciplining them, and just, the support and having and focusing on what their strong points are. And when you have that, when you have these wonderful people, you're going to be a success. It's all your staff.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to surround yourself with people that know. And I know that you had some really great people with security, because I know Manny, who you brought up for security.
Yep, Manny, Lee, Kathy. Oh my goodness, I had a fantastic security team.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's important. Because it's very important. And I know Manny has a gazillion years of experience working these conventions, and he knows the difference between over exuberant fan and somebody that needs to get
He does.
pulled away or told that they need to step back or whatever. And I am realizing something. Scott Ray, is that the Scott that I met at the Hollywood show when I was there with JG and Robert O'Reilly? Because I have a feeling it might be. And if it took this Stefanie to get you here, well, I'm glad you're here, but I want to see if this is the same Scott that I met in Burbank last year when I was at the Hollywood show with because he had some very interesting clients.
Yes. He has great clients. He has very, very interesting clients.
Yes, he has very varied clients because they aren't just within, they're in the polite way of saying it is they're in the publishing world.
Yes.
But no, he did. He had some amazing clients. I love Hollywood show. Hollywood show's another.
I want to get out there one day. I do. I try to get to one convention a month. It gets expensive, so I try one a month.
Yeah, you were in Rhode Island. I mean, you literally just did a really. And I would have loved if I had known sooner. I might have been able to go with you, but you know what?
I drove up. That was crazy. I drove up, went there for 3 hours, and I drove home.
I would have gone with you, to be honest, but I had my COVID shot on Friday. I was out for the count the entire weekend.
Well, I'll let you know when the next one I'm going to. I'm going all over.
Yeah. No, I would love. I was at the last time I went to Rhode Island Comic Con. I went because I was gonna hang out with John Glover, who is another one of my favorite people, who was in one episode of DS9, which I know is actually criteria to get invited to a Star Trek convention. So hint, hint. No, John's great. He's a barrel of laughs. I actually worked with him at Shore Leave a couple years ago, and his energy is not to be believed. He's a fun guy. I would love to see it work out that he could come out. He calls the symbionts turkey dicks.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
That's great.
Like, oh yeah, they just look like, he's like, when I saw it, all I could think of was a giant turkey dick. I'm like, John.
Oh God. John. That's a weird thing to think of.
That's just a sample of how John Glover's brain works. But no, he's fantastic, and he's so ridiculously talented. I just saw him he was in an episode of what the hell? And Just Like That.
Oh yes! Oh my goodness, was he really?
Yes, he was.
It is terrible. I'm actually watching that show, and I'm tortured because I don't like her with Aiden. But we're getting off topic.
Welcome to my show. Anybody's out there?
We have a show about and Just Like That, and my anger about that. Just so you know.
Well, let's see. Yes, but John Glover was in it, which gives it a tie-in to Star Trek. Kim Cattrall was not in that, but she was in Star Trek 6.
Sure was. I love her.
And she actually did make a cameo in this season.
She did. I heard.
I will tell you, I was disappointed because it was in the beginning. I was really looking forward to some sort of build up, and it came and went in the beginning of the episode. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Because she didn't want to do it.
No, I think she was okay doing it because she was still in London. It was just a phone call of her in the back of a car. No. So it was very easy breezy. She probably didn't even have to be on a set. They're probably like, we'll send people to you, Kim. Just please do this for us.
Just say these words.
Just say this and be Samantha again. And she embodies that character.
Yeah, she does. She's fantastic.
She really is fantastic. I'm sure that there's more that we could think of more.
But I'd love to get her on as a Star Trek guest, but she'd be expensive.
Oh yeah,
she'd be expensive. Hey, Scott Ray, do you have her on your list?
Yeah, Scott. She one of your clients. Come on,
one of your clients.
Yeah,
I'm getting her now.
John. Well, Derek's got an impressive resume.
Yeah, he does.
Roster. That's the word.
Yes.
And Byron's got a really great roster. So I don't know. We can ask him if he's got any other Star Trek people.
I like Derek's. I always laugh because I look at all the Star Trek people, and I have one row. I almost have the whole row, and I want to make bingo. So I want to get that last person on the row.
You need to get Billy D. Williams. Can we figure out a way to make Billy D. Williams work out?
Let's talk about maybe sometime. I want to do, okay, so we're talking about conventions. I want to do separate events eventually too, where it's not only Trek Long Island. I call myself Trek Long Island so I could trek and do other things.
Right.
So maybe a book signing somewhere. And I could trek out there, and I can.
I know somebody that might be interested in doing a book signing.
So I want to do more than just like this one convention, but maybe other conventions.
Well, and I think the beauty, and this is what's really interesting, because Creation actually, and I can't believe this, Creation actually caught flack, and it was relatively recently, for having the Orville cast out there. Yeah. People were like, it's somebody called it sketchy. And I'm like, it's not sketchy. They're not a licensed Star Trek event anymore.
Yeah.
Which actually works in their favor because it means that they can do Trek adjacent, whatever the heck they want. They're not beholden to anybody, to who they can invite. Yep. And so why not open it up again?
True, because a lot of people can't afford to go to a lot of conventions. So those people like, I really just want to go to this one. It's the only one I can afford. You're really bringing, you're bringing those guests that they'd never be able to meet to them right there to the place they always go to. I think it's really nice.
Well, yeah, especially since, again, they bring in a lot of the same people. There's new people, but there's a lot of the standards. And listen, don't get me wrong. I can hang out with Connor, Dominic, and Anthony,
of course,
all day. Love those guys. But it's nice when there's fresh blood.
Yeah.
And there's nice when you can go to a panel. I don't go to panels anymore at STLV. Heard all the stories that I've wanted to hear.
Yeah, because you know already. You know all that about them already.
Yeah, exactly. Or if I really want to hear a new story, I invite them on my show.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. Yeah,
it's like I'm just desperately waiting for the strike to be over because I've got this whole.
I know, there's so much. I can't wait till they win. Yes, they win.
Took you long enough. Hi, Scott. Good to see you.
So funny. Yeah. So to ask me stuff.
Ask you stuff. All right.
Me stuff because I'm like,
So like so many other things that happened, COVID is what kind of inspired you.
Yes. I got very depressed during COVID. I had a very hard time. I became super duper mega depressed. And one day, the magic of Carrie Fisher went into my head, and it said, take medication. And I did. Thank you, Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher's awesome.
She is awesome. I felt it, and it worked. I couldn't get out of bed during the pandemic. I was very depressed because I'm a children's librarian, and I love being around kids. I love being around people. So when I was home alone, it really, I missed those children so much. It gave me extremely depressed. And so I did something about it, and that's when I opened the doors to new things. And yeah.
Oh, we just got invited to the next Hollywood show.
Oh, I want to come.
I love New Jersey, but this crazy weather is driving me nuts. Hence why I'm not wearing. Hence why I went
down.
All right, so DJ Kitty Cat thought your panels were great, especially the Sci-Fi Sisters.
Oh, I love them. They're coming. They're back.
They're back, baby. I'm trying to get Yvette on this show. Yvette and I are friends, and I bug her all the time.
God, you have to.
I bug her so much. All right, so Scott has Star Trek One's next Hollywood show. You two should come meet them. All right, well, Scott, I will give you my information. Get me a plane ticket, and I will see you out there. No, yeah, I need to actually talk to Luna. Luna, yeah. you had Barbara Luna. She is
wonderful.
She's indescribable. She's just a bundle of everything.
Nature. She's just everything.
Yeah. She is everything.
She's everything.
I feel so. I really don't like to use the word blessed. Fortunate. I feel so fortunate that she fell into my life and I have Wesley Ure to thank for that actually, because he's the one who put me in touch with her to do the Hollywood show. So yeah, she's just amazing.
We were lucky to get Franz Nguyen last year. It was just, she hasn't been out for a very long time. Oh my goodness, she has a wicked sense of humor. She's
lovely. Yeah, she's great too.
She has a sense of humor. You're like, is she kidding? And you're like, she's fantastic. I really adored her a lot. She's just super kind.
Yeah, the Sci-Fi Sisters are amazing. If you have a chance to watch them, if you have a chance to do anything within their vicinity, I highly recommend anything with the sci-fi. Oh, wait. Yeah. And this is the thing. You are allowed to say what you did not like.
Hotel food. I'm sorry. I know. So this year, I'll tell you about the hotel food. They didn't believe me that the event was going to be big. Okay. So I told them, I warned them, like, oh no, you're just going to have the diner restaurant place, and that's it. I'm like, okay. When they started seeing it filling, they were like, okay, we've decided to bring food into the hallway. So yeah, that's why.
So what made you decide on, now I know obviously Long Island is your stomping ground, so that makes sense that why you wanted to have it. What made you decide to pick a hotel over, say, looking for some sort of convention space? Like a convention center as opposed to
I think it's so good to. I don't like big convention centers. They're not cozy. They're not. I feel like when you're in a place, and I like colleges too. Believe it or not, I like colleges too. I like a place where you can sit down. Believe it or not, there's a lot of seating at hotels, and I have had more. I went on Reddit recently, and I asked everybody what they like to see at a convention. You believe 80% of the people said somewhere to sit down? Well, we got that. So, so I wanted somewhere that you could go to your room if you have a room and relax. There, even if the food's not wonderful, there is something there. If you need a drink, it's easy and it's accessible. It's not like at a big convention center, you got to wait in these long lines forever. It's just, I don't
And
know.
it's food. I mean, I thought JG and I both had hamburgers. I thought the hamburgers were fantastic. What else did I can't remember. I remember the hamburgers.
That's all I remember.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, I ate in that restaurant a couple times. Trust me, I didn't go into. Oh, but JG and I did go to a diner.
Yeah.
The one night. And that wasn't that great. But
Janine just said is exactly it. You could go all night. You can go all night. Hey, you could lobby con it. There's no lobby con at a Coliseum.
Yep. Let's see what Dave said. Yes, please, for sitting down and quiet rooms for some of us who need to decompress or at least not go far. Yeah, well, the place that you're the breakfast, that's what I did not do. I didn't do the breakfast. I just, you know what I did? I went to Target and I got food and I brought it back to the room.
That's what I tell people, because if you could bring snacks with you, it's just easier, mostly for a convention, because you don't know. I'm hoping that we'll have more people this year. So we were just under half the amount of people I could put in that convention, like put in that hotel. So figure double that. If I could do that, that's what it'll be like. And that's still reasonable with food and what's going on at the hotel. Like things I recommended. Everybody, please go to ATM somewhere else, because the first thing that runs out is the ATM. You run out of money in the ATM. And I don't want anybody to, get screwed up.
That was the only problem I had, was that the food vendor downstairs did not take credit cards. And
they panicked. That's
right. Well, that makes sense now, but hello, Square, figure it out for next year. Yeah, because that was because I literally didn't, because when you're either a guest or working with a guest, you don't want to be away from your table any longer than absolutely necessary. So I wasn't going to go upstairs and wait for food. So having something where
you call me and you say, hey, help us out, and I'll send somebody over for you. Don't ever do that again.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I look at it as you guys have enough to do. I am there.
No. We have a guest liaison at the event who is wonderful. Rachel, she was so great, and she had so wonderful. She did such a fantastic job with the guests, her volunteers, and just making sure everybody had what they needed. So
I've done that. I did that at my friend's convention, because the one thing that you get that other conventions don't, that I've worked at other conventions that don't. Fortunately, my friend who ran a convention I worked, it was his 7th year, I think. It was AmazeCon 7. And he brought me on and literally as his guest liaison, I literally just spent 3 days running around going, do you need anything? Do you need anything? What am I getting you for lunch? Do you need some water? I mean, that is all I did, was run around between his guests and make sure that they were okay, because a lot of people take it for granted. Yeah. The celebrity's just going to sit there. And if they don't have handlers, if the convention's not providing handlers.
A lot of times the agents don't want handlers. They ask us not to.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because I think that's asking a lot. And I get that. Like Shore Leave has handlers, but Shore Leave has handlers that they've worked with for years and years and years and years. They don't just have, and in that situation, you can trust me with your money. Like Peter Macon is so funny, because he had these really great, Peter Macon was Bordas on the Orville, because we're still hoping for another season. And he does these amazing watercolors, and he's like, I want to sell these for $100. I'm like, well, do you have Square? No. Dude, if you want to sell something for $100, I had him set up on Square before we sat down at his table.
You got to.
So if you have those kinds of things, but that's really hard, because especially for a new one, you don't want to really.
They don't know me yet. I know a lot of the first year, a lot of people were getting to know me. I know people hesitant, like bringing in those big guests. Who's this new person in town? Am I going to be like that? There was like one convention in New York that didn't pay anybody. Is she going to do that? I paid everybody this year.
Well, and I think and I think that was one of the challenges you ran into, and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn because I know this. An established convention, you can say, here's your guarantee. Yes. My convention will pay you, like, you're guaranteed to make $5,000 from my event. So you come in, you sit down, right, and you sit down and you sign your little heart out, and if you don't make $5,000 by the end of the weekend, I owe you whatever that balance is.
It's hard. That's hard because I don't know. I have no idea what people are going to make by first.
Right. So for a lot of these people, you had to do the reverse. You had to give them an appearance fee of something.
Yeah, sometimes most of them want guarantee, but people are pretty reasonable this year, I have to say. And I think people knew it was the first year. So their people are really great. Like I said, the agents were great. They really were.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that has to do with the agents have been doing this a while. And sometimes
they want to see events survive. They want to see that. They want to see the smaller events, get stronger.
Yes, I think so, because the larger events can be very cost prohibitive just for tickets. And when there are regional events for the people that can't afford to get on a plane and go to the Hollywood show, or can't afford to get on a plane and go to Vegas or any of the other bigger events, it's nice for these regional shows out there so that other people have access that normally wouldn't because they can't afford to get on a plane and go elsewhere. So, I know you're bringing in Armin Shimmerman. When was the last time anybody saw Armin on the East Coast?
That's a big part of what I try to do. I try to bring the people over that nobody's ever met for either a long time and when I go through, everybody's like, oh, bring this person, that person. I'm like, well, they were just here and they were just, I know you want them back, but let's bring people that haven't been here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think some people don't understand that. And I think it's one of the charms of Trek Long Island is we haven't met either. We haven't, I had the most amazing. Oh, Tiff. All right. Do what Tiff did. Hit the like button, please. Thank you for remembering. I forget sometimes too. So thanks for remembering, Tiff. But I think what's lost on people is what you're doing and bringing in these new faces and letting people meet the new people. I had the most amazing conversation with Bruce
Horick.
I almost said Hemmer because that was his character.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I loved him.
Yes, he was one. I mean, and honestly, besides being JG's booking agent, I'm handing out podcast cards.
Yeah, but you know what? If anybody knows, Bruce is an artist, and if you can go onto his Instagram, he posts his art all the time. He's extremely talented. He's fantastic,
and he's lovely. Yes. You guys came in from Baltimore because it was a much more intimate. Baltimore's got, what is it? DC's got Awesome Con. But I've been to Awesome Con.
I want to go to Awesome Con. That's on my list this year.
It's a big ass show in a big ass convention center. So it's a lot of line standing and a lot of crowds. Yeah, it's
good to go to promote and good for me, But
yeah, exactly. And depending on who's there, you can go up and introduce yourself.
You laugh at me. I never go up to the guests. I only want to talk to people. To me, I love walking around, just talking to the random people and just getting to know who everybody is. Again, librarian in me. I love meeting people.
Oh, well, that's cool. Yeah, no, I like to go to talk. Yeah. Most of you. Yeah. See, that's one of the tricks. If you've got a kid, bring them because most of the guests love the cute kids.
Yeah,
and your daughter is adorable. So, yeah, absolutely. DJ Kitty Cat kept me company when JG was off doing panels. He was doing his author's panel, I think. And so I was just minding the shop, telling people he'll be back, or you can go see him. He's next door. Go see him. He's next door. The other thing that's exactly, which is why she puts on such a great convention, because she gets it.
People think I'm funny. Everyone's like, oh, people. I love people. I think they're so cool.
You know what's funny is that the other Stephanie that's very like-minded with you is Stefanie Dyson. There's must be something about the Stephanie. Stefanie Dyson is one of the owners of Creation.
Really?
And she is very much concerned about the fan experience at her shows.
It's so important.
It's so important to her.
Shows where they don't treat the guests right. Everybody has to be treated well. They're called guests for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I know places that don't appreciate the fact that the actors could be doing something else with their time.
Yes. They're like, we're paying you, so you have to do what we say. I'm like, no, they're human. What are you doing?
It's like we're paying you. It's like you're paying them to show up and actually make your convention work. Like, listen, I mean, there are toys and collectible shows that don't have guests, but that isn't a Star Trek convention. So if you want to put on a toys and collectible show, have at it. But you don't have a Star Trek convention unless you have the actors.
Yeah, you need some actors.
So, Tiff, you always have something cool to say. Actually, the thing about Tiffany, is that you don't even need to open your mouth. You just have to go up in one of your handmade cosplays. That's enough of a conversation starter right there. She did Chapel's outfit from that fantasy episode from the first season where they were actually play. She had that kind of peasant.
Next year, everybody has to run up to me and say hi. I'm running around like a lunatic. Be like, hi, just scream at me. Scream at me, please. But this year I have an assistant and I love her. And it'll be a little easier for me.
He's the one that I wanted to meet. That's awesome that you spoke Hebrew with Oded.
Oh, you must have loved that.
I wanted to meet him, and every time I went up to that other room, I kept missing him.
Yeah, he was back and forth a lot.
I loved him in The Mummy and in Charmed. And I was so excited that he was coming on to Discovery because I absolutely loved his character in The Mummy.
He just happens to be an admiral.
But no, I just his character in The Mummy. I absolutely loved his character in The Mummy. I loved him in Brendan Fraser. I loved their chemistry in that movie. The Admiral. The Admirals.
I mean, I know Scott Ray is dying for me to say this, but
speaking of admirals,
our next few guests, next 3 guests, we got 3 admirals coming. The Admiral Club, the Admiral Group. Gonna do some meet and greets with them. I'm bringing meet and greets to the show this year. So we're gonna have. I'd like to get like coffee, like a Keurig in there. Maybe just hang out, talk, and just, trek it up. So our next 3 guests are admirals. And should I announce the one yet, or should we torture?
No, we're talking admirals.
We're talking admirals.
Scott's chomping at the bit somewhere, waiting to probably say something.
But it's killing me. I'm not announcing one of yours, Scott. I'm announcing one of yours this week, though. I'm announcing one of the others, but I promise by the end of the week they'll all be announced.
So don't keep us in. There's a lag. There's a
okay.
lag in the chat.
We're gonna here we go. I'm gonna say her name. It's not an easy name to say. Okay.
Let's all bear with Stephanie as she says it.
Her name is Natalia Nogalich. That is our first admiral coming to Trek Long Island. She actually, I don't know if she'll be doing it at Trek Long Island, but in the past she has gone to conventions in costume. And it's pretty wild. And she really gets into it with the fans. She really gets into the character with the fans. And I'm really looking forward to meeting her.
Yay.
She sounds really great.
And see, here's the thing. You got to tell everybody what admiral she played.
Oh, I can't say her name. I'm going to type it. Can I type it?
Oh,
she said it. Everybody, there it is.
Thank you, Ryan.
Can you phonetically write it out? Because I can't say it. I don't want to embarrass myself. And I've been practicing, but I can't.
Well, you know what? I think I'll just leave that up there. Thank you, Ryan, for the win. So thank you for showing up in the nick of time and just coming right in with that, Ryan. Really appreciate that.
I have 2 more.
Oh my God, Ryan is so good. Here we go.
God, I can't. Nuhayev. Got it. Thank you. I got to work on that. Oh my goodness.
I literally, I also, besides doing this, I have a radio show and I do like Today in Music History and all this other stuff. And I'll start reading about like somebody's, like some musician's birthday or something. And I'm like, or worse, some town that they performed in Iceland or somewhere. And I'm like,
you feel bad. Well, the worst is last year I had to say Fumziele Satole's name. You think I can see how hard it was? It took me a really long time. And then when I met her, she's like, call me Fumi. I'm like, yay. Tani was great. Tani Belafonte at Trek Long Island. She is phenomenal.
Well, Dave says Natalia is a gem.
And Scott, in this week, I'm announcing all the admirals all this week. So keep an eye on the website and on the Facebook page.
And you know what? That goes a long way. If you treat, and that's the other thing that I think gets lost on some people that do conventions. If you treat your actors and your guests with the respect of thank you for coming, and I'm going to take care of you because I know how hard it is for you to sit in a chair for so many hours and everything, and I'm going to take care of you, and they love you, then it's that lovely domino effect where eventually the rest of the actors and the agents and everybody finds out that your place is a place to go, not only to make money for themselves, but to also enjoy themselves.
Have fun. I would love to do, and I was talking to Lolita, and I didn't realize it was a European thing to do this. And I should have known because Ken D from LA Who does this with his European guests. But I'd love to do some sort of trip before or after the event for all the guests. I'd love to bring all of the guests to the wineries or bring them to somewhere just for them, just the guests, not the people coming, not the attendees. Just say, okay, guys, before you guys are just so you can get together, say hi to your friends because you haven't seen each other offset for a while, and kind of have a hangout. Let them go to the wineries for a day on the Friday before the show starts, and then come back all rested up. I would love that.
Yeah, no, that would be great. Listen, I'm sure JG would be interested in doing something like that.
Well, maybe I could see if I could do something small, Yeah, see that the wineries and then the observatory. See, that'd be so much fun. I'd love that.
Your guest list isn't complete yet, is it?
Oh, yes, it is on the pamphlet is complete. You got the two others on there. Yep. Now there might be somebody else. There's two other people
because let's get into this. When you're a small convention and we've been talking about, the actors need guarantees. And even when they're reasonable, there's still no promise that their autographing and photo sessions are going to get you out of having to.
The flights kill me. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Then you've got travel and blah, blah, blah. And you and I will talk about that. Travel agent.
The earlier that people buy their tickets, the more it saves my life and the better I can get more guests. So if today I sold 100 tickets, I'd be like, I'm buying more guests. But if I'm not making them early, then I'm scared to. I'm scared that I'm just going to screw myself up.
Yeah, and that's where you can go. Right there, go there, buy the tickets.
But
buy it.
I feel guilty because I know a lot of people, and I was saying earlier that there's this new trend of people buying very late, last minute, and it's kind of something that came out of COVID. People, and I don't even think people notice they're doing it anymore because I do it too. I bought my tickets to Rhode Island Comic Con when I was leaving the house.
Right.
Because I'm doing it too. It's just like this weird thing that you think you're going to cancel or something's going to cancel, even though realistically it's not anymore. But we were in a pandemic and we still are for 2 years. So it's going to take a while to get out of that. But
that mentality.
But really, please, tell everybody to buy early because I will get more guests. I am a shopaholic. And I will buy more people. Believe me, I love this.
And trust me, I'm bending your ear about some of my other people.
Yes.
Not
Scott, though. Scott never pushes me to get anyone.
Oh, no. Scott's the most laid back, lovely person. We did have fun. We did have fun gossiping, though, a little bit when it was quiet on the show floor. Because he and I were wandering the Hollywood show floor before the convention started. That's the thing I love to do is get the lay of the land. Mm-hmm. It's one thing I love to do about working conventions. Like I work STLV. I have never just attended an STLV. I work them all. I've done it in very different capacities, but there's just something very calming and fun about the show floor before everything starts.
Did I get what?
Did you get a photo op with Shannon Cochran with JG at Hollywood show? Okay.
I was never there. I was at Hollywood show.
Yeah.
I would love to go.
Did I get? No. I know what he's asking, and he's got the wrong Stefanie. Scott. I did not. I should have. I did not. What Scott is talking about is for, I think, the first time ever, Shannon Cochran, who played Martok's wife in Deep Space Nine, and JG were at the same event.
Oh, okay.
And I met her. And we discussed the whole, if people wanted to get a photo op with the two of them because, and it just, it never happened. I mean, It happened. I think we got 1 or 2 of those. But me, no, I should have, and I didn't.
I'm excited. We got Kitty and Armin coming again. Like I know they like to come to shows.
Speaking of
I'm very
married
excited
couples,
to have them coming.
I can't wait.
They're like the lovebirds of Hollywood. I'm very excited to have them. They're just seeing them together is just so sweet.
It's so stinking adorable.
They are. They're stinking adorable.
They're stinking adorable. I think, right. I love Ethan, but I've met Ethan Phillips.
Ethan, I've never met Ethan. I'm looking forward to meeting him. I hear he has quite a sense of humor.
Oh my God, he is so blue. The first time I ever talked to Ethan Phillips was at the first Star Trek convention I went to in the 2000s. I went to Creation's 50th anniversary Star Trek in New Jersey, and I went to Ethan's panel, and Ethan was like, "Are there kids in the audience? Because I get blue." And he went off and he did his set. He did he mixes his comedy in with his set or with his panel. And I bumped into him in the lobby. Another really fun thing about lobby conventions.
LobbyCon.
Is you bump into the actors. So I bumped into Ethan and I was like, "Oh, hi, I loved your panel." And he's like, "Really? You don't think it was too?" I'm like, no, you were fine. You warned people. You were great.
In Avenue 5. I'm sorry. I loved him in Avenue 5.
Oh my God. He's just
great. Okay, who else is coming to my show? Now I want to talk about people. Who else do I got? Melissa Navia. Oh my God.
Yes, that's right. Janet Kidder.
Pilot.
Janet Kidder. I am so excited.
That's exciting. And who looked just like her aunt. I'm sorry. I don't.
Yep, Pan Can. We got Pan Can represent. That's absolutely right, Dave.
Elias Tofexis, who's going to be one of the big villains for the coming seasons coming.
Of
Discovery. He's going to be a big one next season. Remember how I said, "Oh, you never know. They look like they don't do much." Yeah, well, he's going to be like a Gabrielle Ruiz. He's going to be huge.
Oh my God. Well, see, Scott, she's saving the best for last. So,
wait,
we were talking about Taylin earlier.
Yeah, Thailand. Yeah, very excited. Wait, now let's see. Now who am I getting through Scott now? Hold on, I'll get there. Don't worry.
Let's see. Melissa. Yes, I have to name drop here. I did not talk to her, but I picketed with Melissa Navia when I was doing United We Track. Her and Ethan Peck were both on my picket line.
Wow.
In New York. And I did say hi to Ethan after it was all over because Ethan knows me. Or he's very sweet because he must have a photographic memory because he remembers everybody he meets because he'll look at you and be like, "How are you? Good to see you again." And so I chatted with him very, very briefly.
I want to mention Chase Masterson coming and
of course,
back. Also, there's a lot to say about Chase. Last year, we donated $1,050 to the LaBelle School for the Blind. We're selling off a batleth that JG signed. And thank you, JG.
Thank you, JG. We love you, JG.
Love you. See you hearts. Next year, we're going to be donating the money we make from the auction to the Pop Culture Hero Coalition that is run by Chase Masterson. And she's coming. She's doing a lot at the show. She's phenomenal. And I've met her, of course, a few times, but I don't know how she does how much she does. She's phenomenal.
Superhero.
Phenomenal.
She's a superhero in her own right.
She is the Pop Culture Hero Coalition. Believe me.
Oh my God,
I'm working on getting some fun things to auction off, and I have one thing that I would love to show you guys right now. Can I show you guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, you're actually going to go and get something. All right.
Talk amongst yourselves. Talk about I don't know.
I'm going to talk about Janet Kidder because anybody that watched my show with Derek a couple weeks ago. Janet Kidder is somebody I am incredibly excited to meet. I'm a huge fan of her aunt. I'm a huge fan of Superman. And I have a very important something to discuss with her about her death in Star Trek Discovery and whether or not she knows the answer, because let's face it, actors don't know necessarily why things are written the way they're written. They're there, they read their script, and they do amazing work.
My cat took over for a little while.
Oh, hi, kitty.
Okay.
Cats are welcome. We started chanting Lower Decks, and the one that was sitting on my lap ran away.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
So I'm going to tell a little story. 18 years ago, when I started as a librarian where I work, I I was going through some of the old Reed posters. I know you guys know what the Reed posters are. Remember, they usually be these cheesy 80s actors.
Yep.
And well, I found one, and it's not a Reed poster. What it is, let's see, where's the organization? It's on it. Yeah. It's funded by, I can't even read it from here because it's so tiny. The American Library Association. Oh, it's just ALA. It's through ALA in 1998. It's a Reed poster with, but it's not Reed. It's Discover the Feeling. It's during a time where Patrick Stewart was doing some work.
Oh my God.
No, this isn't the best part. It's signed.
Oh my God. Like actually signed?
Actually signed. So I'm thinking whoever worked in the library at that time got this signed and put it up on the wall, and then he quit, never took it with him.
Silly human.
That is a signed Patrick Stewart, and it's in perfect condition, perfect, in a beautiful frame. And it's been like that probably since 1998.
That is so. Tiffany has a new kitty, and she named him Boimler. That's a great name for a cat. That's a great name for a cat. I have a new cat. He's around. His name's Drew. I name all of my cats after my fandoms, unless they come with really good names, which is not. So I've got a Reed, a Trip, a Grogu, and now a Drew, who's actually named after a character from the Wonder Woman TV series. Does he scream? Does Tiffany's cat scream? Oh, that's funny. He probably screams like a little girl. But
so everything got, including that poster and all the other things, every bit of that was going into the auction, and it'll be going for the Pop Culture Hero Coalition. Every bit. I do 100%. I don't take a percentage of it for the convention at the auction. Everything goes to them.
Okay, so he does scream. That's why they named him Boimler. That's awesome. Okay, so is Chase going to be performing? I know.
We're talking about it, so that's in the works. So fingers crossed that works out.
If you remember, the next time you talk to Chase, ask her if she wants to do pizza for a cause.
Okay, I will.
And see if she remembers. I know her right-hand man, Raymond, remembers.
Oh, Raymond. I love him.
Love Raymond. Raymond's one of my closest friends. I love him to the moon and back.
Author, and he never says he read a comic book. That's just, I love it.
Oh, I
love his comic book.
His comic book is downstairs. I have it.
Yeah, I have it somewhere too. I actually know where it is. I love it.
Oh, go get it. Go get it. Is it easy to, yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, he did this amazing diversity comic book starring some fantastic drag queens, including the one and only Jackie Cox, who anybody that watched Star Trek Day on Paramount saw Jackie running around the park looking for Star Trek fans. She's in this comic book. So it's really good. There it is.
Oh, it's a really, really great book that it's
what's it called? It's hard to read.
It's called Lights, Camera, Identity.
Yeah, Jackie's in there, right? I wasn't
talking. We got Pandora Box, Silky Nutmeg, Jackie Cox is in here. And
my girl, love Jackie so much.
Heidi in
Closet. Heidi in Closet from RuPaul's Drag Race. It's so funny. Ru told her to change her name, and she did for 5 minutes, and then went back to Heidi in Closet.
It's her name.
It's a great. I've met Pandora Box through Raymond. I've known Jackie Cox for years.
There's some symbolism in this. Like if you can read this, there's so much symbolism and just kindness, and just it's an amazing book. It really is an amazing comic.
Yeah,
I wish you'd do another one.
He's almost as busy as Chase.
I know, almost like that close.
That close.
But
he designs all of her merch too. So
I know. Then there will be merchandise for the Pop Culture Coalition at the event.
Yeah, so it was terrible. They were really hogtied by the strike. This year at STLV. Because even though it's technically supposed to be a heart, their little emblem, people thought it's an upside down delta, so they couldn't do it. Yeah. So they just sold a bunch of other stuff. I'm
hoping, that they win this and they get what they
It's getting close. It's getting close. So. I have friends in SAG, and I've been meaning to ask anybody if they've heard anything other than what I'm seeing on social media, because I only take what the SAG official socials are saying. So
yeah. Okay. Who's going to murder me if I don't mention any of his guests? Scott Ray. So, so Scott, are you over there?
I'm think he's hanging around. He's waiting.
He's waiting. He's waiting for me to announce that we have Ursuline Bryant coming. She's from the classic. You'll recognize her. I'm forgetting the name of her character, but during the Next Generation episode, she was one of the captains that was. I'm trying to find kind of clipped. She was one of the captains that was eating the I guess it was the Klingon worms.
The gawk.
It wasn't the gawk. They were eating like they were like little. Maybe it wasn't Klingon. I just remember. I wish I could get a picture on here to show.
Oh wait, at that table when they were all doing the thing. Yeah. And Riker was there.
Riker was there eating. Yeah, exactly. She was there. She was also the first. She wasn't the first black captain, but she was the first black captain on the show that her name that was given a name.
Oh, there you go. Conspiracy was the name of the episode. Thank you, DJ.
Thank you.
The one thing I absolutely love about my chat pack 2.0 is if I don't know it, they do.
I know.
But you just gotta give them a minute, and somebody will come up with phonetic spellings of actor and captain.
I've learned again, librarian. I don't need to remember everything. My job is to look everything up.
Oh.
So
I have the
worst memory. I'm the worst memory you could possibly. She was the first named captain, exactly. But she wasn't the first captain. There was another, but she was the first named one.
Yep.
So she's great. And then let's see. Let me go back. See anybody else I did not announce. Let's get everybody out here. Ooh, I forgot to announce You Tied with Daki. Oh my goodness, she was also in American Gods. If you saw the Neil Gaiman's American Gods in Trek, she played the lawyer in season 2, right? Season 2, am I wrong? She is. I cannot not wait to see her. She's incredible.
Yeah, like I said, it's just there are people that have just been done to death one way or another. So it's amazing. It's amazing that you're able to bring new fresh people.
Yeah, and a lot of these people, just because one season they weren't that popular, doesn't mean Thailand. They're not going to be popular in the next season. So it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't mean they don't have some really cool behind the scenes stories, because honestly, when you're like, if you're a day player and you come in and you have some, you have a very different perspective on working on a Star Trek project than the people that are always there.
Yeah.
So it's always nice to get fresh perspectives on the sets and the cast and, whatever. So it's so much fun. But like we've been saying, buy tickets. She needs to get more people. She needs to book my people, buy tickets. JG is going to be there. I'm capable of working more than one person. So, so buy tickets. I had 5 people at the Hollywood show. My very first outing as a booking agent, and I had 5 people. So
I want to mention another person, Orville Cummings. He was on Discovery as a Lieutenant Christopher. He's another one. He had a beginning. He had a small character. It grew, and now people knew. When I announced him, I was like, "Oh my God, Lieutenant Christopher!" People knew who he was.
Yes, Dave. I think you need to make this happen. Trek Long Island. Did the hotel at least know not to book any more weddings for your weekend?
They gave me a much bigger block. Let's just say that.
Okay, great.
I'm trying to get the name of Michael Antistes Ferengi. That's the next one. I want to just remind. Isn't that funny? I forgot the name of his Ferengi. His Ferengi name.
That's the other thing is this is just it's a great location. There's really only one place to hang out, so you're bound to run into people because you're all congregating in the lobby, and the lobby's not that big. So that's always fun. So there's some good places to eat off campus.
There are, and you can actually, like you said, you can order in. They have no problem with people ordering in, and it's not hard to at the Grubhub or anything like in a big Coliseum.
Bonnie ordered a pizza her Sunday night. She got pizza.
And that's what I was going to say. I'm looking to get Bonnie back. So fingers crossed.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I'm working. Did talk to her. I want her back. She wants to come back. Now we just,
I want her back. I
love Bonnie. I love her. Her. I just want to mention the other person. I do have another Ferengi coming, Toll. He was from the Next Generation Bloodlines episode.
Okay.
He's my second Ferengi because I kind of got a little bit of a Ferengi thing going on here a little bit because Ethan Phillips also was a Ferengi, and he also in Voyager played a Ferengi, so it's kind of like 3 Ferengis in a row there.
I remember you now, Ryan, because I was sitting there when you did that. I remember that JG wanted to put down some money on the Preakness. I do remember that. Yep, Jake's 58. JG, like I said, JG.
Yeah, Jake's 58. It's funny. I always, they won't. You could get the room's very close. The place is really close. You can get a room there. You just can't bring kids. That's the problem. So I don't promote that one first, just in case somebody has kids. I don't want to give them make it difficult. They won't let kids in the casino right now because during pandemic, people are leaving their kids in their rooms, locking them in there. So I know. So they're dealing with that right now, but they're turning into a wedding venue. And if they do that, then it might change a little bit and it'll be easier.
Right.
But right now, like I said, I'm in the Hyatt right now. I'm not going to end up in a casino. I'm not going to end up in like a Coliseum, but I do like colleges. I'm not going to lie to you. I do like colleges. I like the vibe.
Yeah, because I know you're talking about possibly moving it next year.
Yeah. And I spoke to one place and it's reasonable. Yeah. So let's see. But again, it's really up to the sales this year if I can move it. And where I would bring, they'd have, they have a lunchroom there, so they have like a whole bunch of things you could eat. So it's a little bit different,
right? Well, and that's the other thing that some people forget. You had a great green room. You had a fantastic green room, which was really nice to kind of duck into, and chit chat.
Yeah, we kept. And next year the green room is gonna be a little different. I'd love to do more for the fans. Again, it's really up to me making the money I can make. It's what I can bring in. It's right. It all comes down to that.
Yeah, exactly. It's always a numbers game when you're doing something like this. But again, buy tickets. Let me tell you a couple of things that are happening this year that didn't happen last year. So I told you about the meet and greets.
Friday evening, we're going to be open Friday evening. So really things will start about 5:00. I'd like to have a small opening ceremony, but that's not that important. I do want the reception though. We're going to be doing a reception in the area we had autographs last year. Autographs will still be in that room, but the Friday evening, I want to turn into a lounge, kind of like a little lounge night. And the Klingon pop singer is coming, and she dresses in Klingon regalia. Oh, wow. She's also as a consultant for Prodigy and for translating into Klingon, and she's going to be singing in Klingon lounge music. And I've been in talks with a company called the Federation of Beer, and it sounds like we'll be getting this special themed Trekkie beer at the event. If everything goes well from here, it looks like it. So we're going to have this reception on Friday evening. Anybody's invited just to kind of hang out. It's more of like a big meet and greet for everybody to, start their weekend and kind of make their friends and find their people.
And I love that you're going to be on a Friday this year because that means I'm driving up on Thursday, which means hopefully, please God, less traffic. Because I promised I was coming to help you set up.
I know, but
then it's like every time I turn around, I don't know how many times. I love Waze. I've stopped using my Garmin because Waze is amazing, but I can't tell you how many times Waze kept changing its mind about.
I know it's a mess. But next year, don't worry, you'll double help me. No, but so then after that, during the Friday evening, it'll basically be that. I'm going to keep it light. I really just thank you for Ursuline. Thank you. I forgot her name. There it is. But after the Friday night is basically going to be more of just a meet and greet. We're going to have some light panels. The main stage will do something light, but nothing big. I really want people to kind of get together, hanging out. It's late at night, so you're not going to have the kids around. So kids are free for Friday night because I'm not going to make kids pay for Friday night, and there's really nothing for them to do.
And then we're probably going to be sitting there going,
yeah, they'll be bored out of their minds. Yeah. They're going to, so exactly. Can we leave now? We do have kids programming going through this Saturday and Sunday, so that'll be worth it for the kids. But I'm doing something really cool. We tried to do a dance party last year, and it was really difficult to try to get people in there. I love icebreakers and mingling. So this is what I'm setting up. If you're on Reddit, you might have seen what I'm setting up. I'm setting up a LARP. So during the event, in the party, you're going to show up. Pretend to show up to the party. There's going to be a whole bunch of cards. You pick one up, and that's who you are at this in this party. So you might be the Ferengi who ran out of latinum. You might be Q, who lost all his powers, or you might be a Betazoid lost on her way to her wedding, and you have to pretend to be that, and you have to go into this party, and you'll wear the little ticket on your shirt so everybody knows what you're supposed to be, and that's how you're going to act to people. So it's going to be like a LARP. We're going to have fun with it.
That's going to be such a great way to break the ice for people that aren't. Okay, so I know that traffic on Long Island isn't terrific ever, but there are degrees of traffic, and driving up as early as I possibly can on a Thursday is definitely going to be better than driving up on a Friday in the summer. I mean, I understand.
You're done.
I breezed Monday. I left. I got up. I took my time. I got up. I got gas. I stopped at Starbucks. I was home in the blink of an eye on Monday morning.
Yes, David. I know they're clothing optional.
So that means that somebody who's getting lost on her way to her wedding is just going to be sitting there going, I can't.
These are going to be very cold. I'm lost on the way to my wedding. I'm freezing.
They should just wear, just get a nude.
But the thing is, nobody's going to be able to dress up really, because how are you going to dress up? Yeah, this is something I was thinking of doing. As you all know, I'm a supporter of any sort of foundation. At the LARP, there's going to be the NPCs, the non-playing characters, which will be everybody. But then I'd love to have some playing characters who will be the real captains, the real admirals. Now those will be $10 to be those people. All the money to that will go to an organization that's focused on sexual health. And because I figured it's a nighttime party and maybe we could do something a little bit different.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. That's amazing. But so would you say that with worrying about funding, with trying to, with this basically taking over most of your waking hours?
I have 13 social medias, guys.
Yeah, this would have to be, I would say, a labor of love that you do this. Do you feel like you get back what you put into it?
Yeah, I love it. I have so much fun. You know where I'm having fun now? Reddit. I'm having so much fun on Reddit. Everybody's so much fun. I post something and everybody's like, I love it. I'm so bad at Tumblr. I'm trying, but I'm so bad at it. But I have a great time because, again, I love talking to people. So social media is like so fun. I get to really get to know people. I love it.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, it's how you do it. It's really how you play it.
Right. And just as a PSA, because I've been known to PSA, and because we're talking about, you want to do something for a sexual health organization, and because your entire weekend is dedicated to helping Chase, and again, Pizza for a Cause,
and PanCan, we'll be doing stuff
and PanCan, of course.
It's a pancreatic cancer organization. If people don't know,
your organization puts its money literally where its mouth is.
Yes.
You have shared, and I shared on my personal page this morning, documents that we know exactly that the $1,050 that you raised at that auction for the Bat Left went immediately to exactly where you said it was going to go.
There are people that get spectacle, and I understand that there are some, because there are shady people out there.
Yeah, and
I want people to know that I'm really doing this. This is, like I said, for a living, I give things away. I'm a librarian. I give things away. I'm not used to taking money. I'm not used to doing that. I want to help people. That's what I went into college for, to just help people.
Right, exactly. So please, whenever anybody says that they are an organization, that they say they are a charity, that they say they're giving to a charity, it is so easy to request documentation of, okay, so show me, prove it to me. Somebody posted, you can even go to the IRS website and look up any charity on the IRS. Literally just go Google IRS charity, and they will tell you the list of organizations, whether or not they are a legitimate 50c3, whether or not they've had their status revoked. Just educate yourself, because there are so many worthy places to spend your money, like Trek Long Island. You're spending your money to attend Trek Long Island. And then Trek Long Island just turned around and specifically says, our auctions are going to X. So what your entry fee is going to cover the cost of doing business, and your auction is going to this year to Chase. So
I'm also on the website. I just put it on the website where you buy tickets. If you want to help the convention, if you want to help me, pass what you're doing with your ticket, scroll down to the bottom of where you buy tickets. It's going to have a Library for the Kind logo, which is a heart that says Library of the Kind and in Braille with colors, like a colored heart. Underneath, you could donate any amount of money. And really all that does go to the convention, helping me run it. That's what that's doing. It's helping me just pay for the actors, the guests, anything there. That's what that's for. So if you want to help me just get this rolling this year, help me out a little bit, that's where you go.
And there are sponsorship opportunities if you know or are a small business and you want to sponsor an ad, you want to sponsor a table, you want to sponsor something, reach out to Stefanie. You can get her contact information again off of the Trek Long Island website, which you see at the bottom of the screen, and get in touch with her and talk about what kind of sponsorship opportunities she's offering, because this is fun. This is community. This is us getting together and doing what we all love. And this is a convention you want to be behind because it shows that kind of respect to the actors and to its guests, because it goes both ways. You can't have a convention without the actors and you can't have a convention without the guests. So, and again, IDIC, you treat everybody exactly the way they deserve to be treated, with the respect that they deserve. And that's why everybody has a good time when they go.
This was perfect. We got Chase this year because that's what Chase is. She's kindness. She's
kindness personified.
I wanted her last year so bad. It just did not work out. But
it can take you 2 years just to get on her schedule.
To get her on, just get her on the phone. Like, are you still busy? She's phenomenal.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, well, I've got 2 seconds between A and B, and I'm actually running to C. But
I think I had her for 5 minutes once. Did you hear that? 5 minutes.
That's a record. I actually did get her before this was video. I actually did get her on a show once.
Really? Wow.
I did. Yes, we definitely need more kindness. And yeah, I did get her on a show once back when she was less busy. I think it was before the YMCA segment of Pop Culture Hero Coalition was finalized. The minute that partnership was finalized, all her time went.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got lucky. I got in before this version.
She's great.
She's amazing, and I love her to death. And again, pizza for a cause. But any final words? We've been doing this for an hour.
Questions? Anything?
I'd love to have you back on. Maybe, as things get closer, if there's any more updates. But
you know what? Next time I get on, let's get my assistant on with me. Let's get Emily Daniel on with me.
Yeah, because then we can talk even more in depth.
Yeah, she'd love to talk a little bit about too. Because Emily's interesting because she also was an agent for a while. So she also has a different perspective on things.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, this is about educating people so that they understand exactly what it is. That's why I call it Convention 102. Because I think everybody should know about the inner workings of what, because I hate to see conventions get a bad rap for things that are more of a misunderstanding of how things are run.
I'm super open with things. Let me tell you, I'm super open.
Yeah, exactly. But I just feel like there are times when people just don't understand.
They don't ask. They don't know. They don't know they can ask me. Just ask.
Just ask. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, listen, everybody has legitimate complaints. I don't mind seeing legitimate complaints. I just feel bad when people complain about things and it's because they don't understand exactly what goes into making a convention do what it is. But Stefanie, you are more than welcome to come back.
Yay.
Absolutely. We will set that up. And yes, let's all cross our fingers that the SAG after strike will be over sooner rather than later, so that we can all start talking more about Trek actors, and I can get some Trek actors on and bump you all so I can have my Trek actors on. But guys, thank you as always for hanging out. And you know what? I will be here next week. And we will be talking about something else Star Trek related. So thanks, as always, for hanging out. Stefanie, thank you for hanging out. And until I see you all next week, be sure to live long and prosper.
Thank you.
This is Connor Turner. You've been listening to the NX 7062 podcast.